Hi everyone, this is Lolly. Today I want to talk about what's happening with Etsy today. They have a new change they just announced this morning, and it's called Offsite ads. So I have printed off their FAQs and their information so that you can, so I can share it with you, and we can discuss a little bit of the math and how it affects people. This will be different for every seller. So just know that, but I want to basically address it with how it may affect my account and how it would affect you as a buyer on Etsy across the whole platform. So this is what their information said, that in the past you could advertise on Etsy and across the web, but they're announcing two updates. They said starting in April, they're getting away from the advertising through Google, and they're handling their own advertising in-house, is what it sounds like to me. So what is new is we're introducing an updated advertising service called Offsite Ads, which uses Etsy's budget and expertise to promote your items on multiple high-traffic sites, including Google, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Bling. When a shopper clicks on one of those online ads for your products and purchases from your shop within 30 days, you will pay an advertising fee. And you only pay the fee when they purchase. So the benefit of this, for those of you who are already paying for online ads with Etsy, is that in the past you could pay for ads and have no benefit from it. In this situation now, you would pay only when there is success. So a sale. So for those of you who are advertising through Etsy already, this will be probably beneficial to you. And notice it says that when the shopper clicks on the ad from your product and purchases within 30 days. So yes, that means that if someone sees an ad, and this is not me placing ads, mind you, this is Etsy using my product listings. If someone clicks on one of my ads, they don't buy anything, but maybe 25, 26 days later, they decide to go back to my shop, even without clicking on the ad again, but they just go to my shop. Etsy has kept a record of that traffic and knows this person saw my ad and they are buying, so I would pay fees on that purchase. Okay, more about that later. For most sellers, offsite ads is optional, but it's a great opportunity to grow your business, so all sellers will be automatically enrolled. So although it says for most of us it's an optional, they are enrolling all of us in it, which means, to my understanding, that you would have to go into your settings and undo it if you are not forced into the program. So you only do it when you made a sale. So here's the breakdown. If you've made, as an Etsy seller, if you've made more than $10,000 US in sales in a 12-month period, you will benefit most from the advertising, so you will be required to participate for the lifetime of your shop. And you'll get a discounted advertising fee. So here's what it works out to be. If any seller who has sold less than $10,000 in products in the last 12 months, it's recommended that they use offsite ads, but not required. And they would pay a 15% advertising fee for all those sales, and that is in addition to all the other fees on Etsy. For those sellers who have sold more than $10,000 US in a 12-month period, then they are required to participate in this. And instead of a 15% fee, it would be dropped to 12% in addition to the other fees. So again, this is on their website. The advertising fee is in addition to Etsy's transaction and payment processing fees. So for those of you who are not aware, we pay, whenever we list an item on Etsy, we pay 20 cents. And then if the item keeps relisting, if we want to relist it every 4 months, like something that you keep in stock, then it's 20 cents each 4 months. So it's not too bad, but for a smaller price item, that can get to be a bit much. But for a larger price item, 20 cents is not much. And then when we sell the item, we pay Etsy 5% for a transaction fee and 3% for a payment processing fee. So that is 8% we're already paying. So the ad fee for 12% or 15%, depending on how good your sales were for the last year, That is on top of the 8%. Now, in their FAQs, when will I pay an advertising fee? If a shopper clicks on an Etsy-funded ad featuring one of your listings on Google, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Bing and makes one or more purchases from your shop, within 30 days, those sales will be attributed to Etsy's advertising and you'll be charged an advertising fee on the total value of that order. So for instance, let's say they take an ad for a journal that I'm selling and they promote that. I'm going to be using a $30 journal just as kind of illustration purposes. And let's say someone clicks on that ad, they see the picture, they click on it. Even if that person, that shopper, had already been one of my customers, it doesn't matter. They saw my ad, they clicked on it. Not my ad, Etsy's ad on my behalf. And they click on it. And then they don't buy anything, but later on, as my customer, they are a repeat customer, they come back to my Etsy shop and buy. Etsy will charge me a commission on everything that person orders within 30 days of clicking the ad. So that's it in a nutshell. They stated a couple times here that all sellers are automatically enrolled in Offsite ads, but that if you've made less than 10,000 US in a 12-month period, you can decide if you want to participate in Etsy's advertising. So that means to me that there has to be a way for you to opt out if you are able. But if you've had over 10,000 in sales, you are not able. So let's break this down with some math. Now I'm going to use this. I'm going to give you several scenarios for someone who is paying the 15% advertising fee. So on a $30 item, let's say it's a journal, at 15% plus the 8% of fees we're already paying, that's a total of 23% in fees. So if you subtract $6.90 in fees, and let's assume $5 in materials to make that, I don't know, it's different for everybody. And what if you also participate in Etsy's free shipping that they have been trying to promote? That means that you actually only make $12.70 on that item, which is a 57.7% loss from the $30. Let's take that $30 item and the $6.90 in the fees, again, from the advertising and the fees that Etsy already has. But let's say your materials are $15. For instance, if it's not something you made, if you're buying supplies from a wholesaler, generally you're paying 50% of that. So a 30 item you sell for 30, you paid 15 for. And let's say you also participate in the free shipping policy. That means you made $2.70 on that sale of that item, which is a 91% loss. So you can see where I'm going with this. One more example. $30 item, $6.90 in fees, and $15 in materials. But let's say you're not offering free shipping, but you still have to pay for your mailing envelopes and your tape and your paper and ink and all that stuff. Plus, you, like someone orders a $30 item, I give them something worth at least $1 in value as a free gift. So making $6.70 on that item. You can see by the different breakdowns here, it depends on your shop, it depends on what you're selling. And again, this is only if you're selling a $30 item, not if the person buying that item is also buying other items from your shop. So basically my take on this, if you are someone who is already paying for advertising, you might find this to be a great benefit to you. They also mentioned in here that most sellers would only have 10% or less of their items advertised. That's still a lot of advertising on your behalf. I have yet to see what items they would advertise. I don't think that I know I don't take really great shop photos, so I don't know that my photos would be interesting enough for Etsy to use. If that's even an issue, I'm not even sure how that works. But you know, when you hand make something and you spend a lot of time and effort, let's say you did make that $30 journal, to only get $12.70 for selling that, Think of this as a buyer. Do you really think that someone is going to allow their handmade item to sell for $12? I mean, not sell for $30, but them only make $12.70. This is going to be passed on to the buyer. I'm convinced of it, just like I was convinced that you're not getting free shipping on those offering free shipping, because you still are paying for increased prices in the shops. So the way that sellers are going to recoup this is to raise their prices, and so to cover the cost of advertising, which is a general concern anyway. We do realize it's a business expense, and we recoup that through the cost of our items. But when it comes to large, ticket items and heavy items, or the people who have a lot invested in materials, people who buy antiques and refurbish them a little bit and sell them, are they really going to want to take a 91% loss on that item? Because and we don't know which items are going to be advertised by Etsy and which ones aren't. So that creates a problem too. If I knew right off the bat, oh, this particular listing that I have in my shop will be part of the Etsy Offsite ads program and they will advertise it, I would have to adjust my costs accordingly. But we don't know that. So what do we do? Are we to increase our listing prices across the board to make up for this difference? And some of those, like I sell a variety of things. I sell digital designs that I've made, craft supplies that you can, use, craft tools that you can use to make things. And I sell items that I've made. So I do a variety of things. And I realize that as far as selling craft tools, this kind of levels the playing field, so to speak, between online sellers and those who have brick and mortar stores, because they have overhead, they have their own advertising, they have rent and utilities and things that we don't have. And I realize that this extra fee will raise or, like I said, level the playing field in that regard. And I don't have a problem with that. I realize that it's easy for us to put things out there and ship them without having a brick and mortar store. So overall, I'd say I'm not a fan of it. I fall into the category. I have made over $10,000 in sales in the last 12 months. And so that does not profit, keep in mind, because my supplies, we're looking at $5,000 worth of supplies to sell those things. And so I would get the 12% advertising fee, again, on top of the 8%. So I would be paying 20% of my sale would go toward that advertising fee for the offsite ads. So not thrilled with it. Again, there's many other options out there. One of is to have your own website, which you can sell through that. So what are your thoughts? Please leave comments down below. We want to have a mature conversation about this. And so all opinions are welcome, but not rudeness. So rudeness will be deleted, but disagreeing, no problem with that. Everyone's going to have their own opinion, their own take on this. If you're an Etsy seller, how does this affect you? But like I said, we are all in a different categories in what we sell, the price point of what we sell, what materials we are involved in making that item, and whether or not we're already involved in Etsy advertising to begin with. Is this going to benefit your Etsy business? It's not. I don't see it as a win-win, because I'm driving my own business to my shop and it's fine. I don't feel like I need this. I may be completely wrong, and I'm willing to admit that I could completely be wrong, because I have been known to be wrong. So thank you for watching, and make sure you look at the links down below, and I will give you a link to my shop as well.